Something heartwarming happened when this homeless father and his baby came on the street to collect money for his family. Everyone could see them, but no one came forward to help. They were sitting there for over an hour until this heartwarming thing happened. This boy with the red t-shirt came forward to help them, but this homeless man refused to take this and told him that it was just a social experiment. Then he rewarded the boy with lots of money and said he was the first kind-hearted person who went there to help them.
Something shocking happened. This baby was left on the road. When a homeless man picked him up, a woman saw them and accused him of kidnapping. She wanted to take the baby away and warned others not to trust him. They even surrounded him to protect the baby. Then another woman arrived and started panicking. But in a moment, everything changed when the homeless man pushed them aside and ran towards her. Minutes earlier, this woman had placed her bags in a taxi and gotten inside without taking her son. The man tried to stop them, but they didn't notice him, so he stayed with the baby. Finally, he reunited the baby with his mother, leaving everyone embarrassed by their actions. This girl ran away from her mom because when she asked for extra food, her mom refused, saying they already had enough. But when her mom got a phone call and got distracted, the girl saw her chance and escaped as fast as she could. The mom tried to catch her, but lost her. Then the girl went to a homeless man, but since her mom wouldn't let her buy anything else, she had to give him her own hat and scarf to keep him warm. If you're touched by this, please subscribe.
This woman's skirt got stuck on this bus door, and now she had to find a way to free before the door closed. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get it free. She watched in fear. Then the door closed and the bus started to move. She banged on the bus door to get it to stop, but no one heard, and the bus kept picking up speed. The woman could feel the skirt coming off and increased her shouting, but with no result. Suddenly her skirt came off and the bus took it away. But in that instant, this man who had noticed what was happening quickly covered her with his coat. His heroic actions saved the woman from embarrassment.
Something heartwarming happened when this little girl rushed in front of an oncoming vehicle. When the driver came down, he was surprised. She explained that she needed help for her ill grandmother, who urgently needed to get to the hospital. But when the man rushed to help, his girlfriend started complaining, telling him they had somewhere else to be and shouldn't waste time helping strangers. But the man ignored her. After ensuring the old lady was comfortably seated, he let the little girl sit next to her before driving off, leaving his girlfriend behind. The lady lost an amazing relationship because she couldn't show kindness to others.
This woman's clothing got caught in her car door and her keys fell into the sewer. She was left struggling to free herself, but instead of helping, these men chose to laugh at her and take embarrassing photos. The woman was hurt, unable to do anything but watch the men walk away. Then she noticed another woman passing by and asked for help. Even though the woman knew searching for the keys could ruin her clothes, she did it anyway. When she realized she couldn't do it alone, she took a pair of scissors and cut through the girl's blouse. Together, they worked to retrieve the keys. If you believe we should always help people in need, subscribe.
This girl was walking with her mother when her ball fell into a manhole. The girl ran after it, putting herself at risk. But her mother was too focused on her phone to notice and stop her. But a homeless man nearby noticed that and immediately interfered. He stopped the girl quickly and rescued the ball himself, covering the manhole safely. After then, when the grateful girl hugged him, her mother noticed and assumed that the man was doing wrong with her child. She rushed over, insulting him, and refused to listen to his explanation. Despite his efforts to clarify, she called the police. The man's act of kindness saved the girl from harm, but went unappreciated. Let's not rush to judgment.
At the end, something unexpected happened. When this woman was about to leave in her car, a dog approached her and started barking. She thought it was just another hungry stray, but when it refused the food she offered, she decided to ignore it and head home. But the dog wouldn't let her leave. It kept barking and following her. Finally, the dog got her attention by running off with her bag. When she followed, she discovered the dog's urgent message. On the other side of her car, she found two puppies that would have been seriously hurt if she had driven away. The woman was overjoyed to find the puppies and took them with her. Thanks to the dog's actions, the puppies were saved and found a new home. If you love dogs, subscribe.
Something heartwarming happened when this man accidentally knocked over the gardener's bucket. Even though he was clearly at fault, he shouted at the gardener and blamed him for what happened. Despite the gardener's attempts to apologize, the man kept on scolding him. But as he shouted at the gardener, these kids who were playing nearby and saw everything that happened rushed over and stood between the man and the gardener. Soon, their headmaster joined them, defending the gardener and telling the man he was in the wrong. The man walked away in shame. If you think we should always stand up for what's right, subscribe Subscribe. These girls were shocked to see a kidnapped woman silently asking for help in the selfie they had just taken. They noticed the man threatening her to act normal, but they pretended to trip and accidentally spilled juice all over her clothes. This made the man angry, and he took her to a store to buy new clothes. While he selected a shirt and waited for her to change, the other girl pretended to be pregnant and chose a dress to enter into the dressing room. She whispered something to the woman and then left. The man became suspicious and pulled back the curtain, only to find that she had switched clothes with the girl and escaped. He tried to catch her again, but they called for help and he couldn't stay there any longer. If this little girl was pushing her mother's wheelchair on ice when a man accidentally bumped into them. The man insulted them and then walked away. The little girl was on the edge of tears because it was really difficult for her to push the wheelchair. Then these jokers appeared and began mocking the girl and her mother's situation. They mimicked them in a disrespectful and playful manner. The mother and her daughter were truly saddened. Finally, another mother with her 2 children approached, and when the girl asked them for help, they listened. Together, they all started pushing the wheelchair. Subscribe if you ever helped any people in danger.
At the end, something incredible happened. All this homeless man wanted was a little money for food. No matter how much he begged, no one stopped to help him. This lady even laughed at his situation, filming him and kicking away his hat. The cold responses from everyone hurt the man, but he refused to give up and held on to hope. Suddenly, another man stood in front of him and started dancing. This caught people's attention, and they finally began dropping money into the man's hat. After he finished dancing, this man collected the money and gave it all to the homeless man. The man wept, knowing he could finally get something to eat. Remember, we should always help people in need.
Something heartwarming happened when this woman tried to wake up a man sleeping on the bus. The man was tired after a long day at work and rested on his suitcase as he slept. Other passengers noticed the lady repeatedly kicking the suitcase to wake him up. A young man, unhappy with her response, decided to do something. He gave up his seat to the lady and sat on the floor, using his back to support the suitcase. The other passengers were impressed by his actions. If you think we should always be considerate, subscribe.
Something incredible happened. As an elderly lady was trying to cross the busy street with the help of her walker, many cars passed by without offering any help. But then this dark gray car came to a stop and got out to help the old lady across the street. Soon after, another driver saw this and stopped to help the lady. He ran over to her, and the other person put her walker across the street, and they both lifted her up and walked across the street safely with her. Then they went back and got her walker so that she can move on about her day. If you think these men have a kind soul, then subscribe.